It's 11:30 on some Thursday and you're sitting at your kitchen table. The only light in the room is the laptop screen. You just paid your credit card. You paid the lowest. Again, you look at the screen, at the balance of $7,400, and you tell yourself that next month will be different. Next month you're going to do all your cooking at home. Next month you're going to cancel all those subscriptions you don't use. Next month you will have that extra $500 to start investing like everyone on the internet keeps telling you to do. But you know what's going to happen next month. The dog is going to eat something strange and will have to go to the vet in an emergency. The car will start to make a grinding noise when you brake. Your best friend is going to ask you to be in their wedding. This means flights, a hotel, and a bachelor party you just can't afford. You think you're the only one that's bad with money. You think there is something inherently wrong with you. You feel like you're falling behind everyone you graduated with. Spoiler alert, it's not you. It's the math, and the math is just brutally hard. My name is Scott, and today we're going to do something that credit card executives, retail marketing departments, and banks pray you never do. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty on the numbers to show you how the system is intercepting your wealth before it can even compound. And we're going to look at the absolute smartest way to start investing in 2026 with just $500. If you're sick of working hard and making good money and at the end of the year have nothing to show for it, then hit that subscribe button right now. Today, we will discuss the hard financial reality that nobody took the time to teach you in school. The main thing the financial establishment does not want you to know is this. You already have the $500 a month you need to build life-changing wealth. You make it already. You are simply passing it on to a giant banking conglomerate at 24% interest for their corporate dividends, and not for your own financial freedom. Getting approved for a high-limit premium credit card is not the same as being able to afford the lifestyle it temporarily allows. Those are two catastrophically different things, and that confusion is how the middle class stays financially trapped. So let's begin with the uncomfortable reality of today's market. Let's establish the baseline so you know you're not crazy. The Federal Reserve says total American credit card debt just passed $1.13 trillion in 2024. That's not a mortgage debt. That is not student debt. That's $1.13 trillion of high-interest unsecured consumer debt. The average credit card interest rate is now at about 24.7%, the highest average ever recorded since bank rates started tracking it in 1985. At the same time, Northwestern Mutual found that the average American has less than $90,000 saved for retirement. We are living in a historic moment where the economic system fully expects working people to pay for basic, middle-class existence at payday loan interest rates. The gulf between what the system requires from people and what people have never been greater. So let's crunch some numbers. Now let's see what that $500 really means. For most people, a credit card payment of $500 every month is just a frustrating bill. It's not a bill. It's a generational anchor point. Let's take off the true costs, layer by layer. So if you're paying $500 a month, and you carry a $10,000 balance at 24% interest, your total annual cost in pure interest alone is over $2,000. You are paying the bank thousands of dollars over the time it takes to pay that off for the privilege of having bought groceries and gas 2 years ago. But this is where most people's math breaks down. We have to calculate the opportunity cost. If you take that same $500 a month, and instead of paying it to Visa or MasterCard, you put it into a standard S&P 500 index fund, returning a historical average of about 10%, that $500 a month turns into about $1.1 million in 30 years. You are not paying $500 a month for your convenience or for emergency repairs. You're spending $1,100,000 of your future freedom. Every $100 a month you invest turns into $226,000 in 30 years. $3.33 a day is $250,000. It's not just a figure on a spreadsheet. That's the difference between lying awake at 2 in the morning doing panic math about whether you can afford new tires and sleeping well knowing you can walk away from a toxic boss tomorrow morning. Allow me to introduce you to David. David is a 32-year-old project manager who makes $130,000 a year. By almost every historical and global measure, David is winning the game. He makes way more than the median American household income. He has a nice 2-bedroom apartment in a good part of the city. He drives a 4-year-old mid-size SUV. He takes one good vacation to Mexico or Florida every winter. But David has $14,000 in credit card debt on 3 different premium travel rewards cards. After taxes, his 401k match and basic health insurance deductions, his take-home pay is about $7,300 a month. Let's go through his budget line by line, because that's where the illusion falls apart. He He pays $2,600 for rent, which is normal for his city. He makes a $650 a month car payment. His car insurance costs him $180. Groceries, utilities, cell phone, internet, and basic subscriptions add another $1,200. He spends roughly $400 a month on eating out and drinks with friends. Then the debt. He's paying $800 a month on those credit cards. At 24% interest, less than half of that $800 even applies to the principal balance. The rest goes into banking profits. At the end of the month, when he looks at his banking app, he has maybe $400 left for any variables, emergencies, gifts, or life stuff that comes up unexpectedly. That's what it actually feels like, day in, day out. It's like you're making six figures and more, and you still feel your chest tighten when you check your bank account before you agree to go to a birthday dinner. It's the equivalent of swiping your debit card at the grocery store and holding your breath while the machine processes. Even though you did all the things society told you to do, it feels like you're living one check engine light away from a total financial meltdown. You obeyed the rules. You went to university. You got the job in the corporate. You got the job. And you're still choking on dollar bills. And this is the part that really stings. It's this part that makes David miserable. David looks around at his coworkers, the guys who sit in the same meetings and make the same salary that he does. And he sees them driving brand new $80,000 trucks. He sees them going off on 2-week vacations in Europe. He sees them in designer clothes, eating out 5 nights a week. He looks at their lives, looks at his empty checking account, and wonders what secret they know that he does not. Let me do this envy math for you right now. The secret is that they are drowning faster than he is. They live off a scaffolding of invisible debt. They are using buy now, pay later services to pay for their clothes and electronics, splitting a $300 purchase into 4 easy payments so it feels like free money. They claim they are leasing the luxury cars they own. They are constantly transferring balances from one high-interest card to another 0% promotional card, hoping the music does not stop before the promotional period ends. They have unseen icebergs of parental wealth transfers, with mom and dad quietly paying the down payment on the house or the student loans. Or they are just sinking under the weight of their own spending, more than likely. Whispers real money, false money cries. The louder the logo, the less real wealth behind it. You're comparing your real mathematical bank account to someone else's quiet, panicked desperation. You running the race fair and they've got a GPS tracker slipped into their shoe. And that brings us to the systemic indictment. Let's talk about who wins here. Credit card companies make money when you carry a balance. When you pay your statement in full and reinvest your surplus into an index fund, they make exactly $0. There is not a single person in this whole transaction who has a financial incentive that coincides with your long-term survival. The financial system is designed to get you into the debt. It's not designed to ensure you can sustain it, and it's certainly not designed to help you build wealth from it. Consider the whole apparatus. The minimum payment calculations are mathematically designed to make sure that you are paying interest for the longest period of time that is legally allowed. The points, the miles, the travel perks, the exclusive lounge access. All of these are mental hooks. Do you know who pays for those first-class flights you get with your travel points? The single mom paying 29% interest on groceries she had to put on a credit card. The system transfers wealth from the people who carry balances to the people who pay their cards off. The bank takes a huge cut of both. All of the default settings, the minimum payment, the 84-month auto loan, the free trial that auto-renews, are precisely calibrated to take the maximum amount of money from you over the maximum period of time. This is not a personal defect on your part. This is not a failure of your will. This is the system doing exactly what it was supposed to do. You didn't make it. Asterisk. You didn't ask for it. I'll tell you about the 3 things you're really thinking about right now. Not the polite theoretical objections you would say out loud, but the real, visceral, dark objections you are holding on to justify inaction. First, you are thinking, Scott, I can't afford to put money in at this time. Once I have paid off all my debt, I will start investing. Mathematically, yes, 24% debt repayment is the best guaranteed return you will ever get. But waiting until you're perfectly, completely debt-free to start the habit of investing is a trap. It's a psychological illusion. If you wait for the perfect time when there are no emergencies, you will never start. Because life will always bring you another broken water heater, transmission that goes out, or medical bill. You have to build the investing muscle while you are digging out of the hole, even if it is a mere $50 a month. Second, you think the stock market is a casino, and it is going to crash the moment you put your hard-earned money in. Let's look at the data. Since 1926, the S&P 500 has returned about 10% a year. and that timeline has the Great Depression, in which the market went down 86%, including 2 world wars. The Dow was up 50% in World War II and 60% in the Korean War. That includes the 1970s stagflation, the 2000 dot-com crash, the 2008 financial crisis, and a global pandemic. The S&P 500 has never had a negative return over any 20-year period of time. Never before in history. At COVID, it took 5 months to recover after the market crashed 34% in 23 days. The crash of 2008 had been fully recovered by 2013. 3. You are thinking you are too late to start. You're in your 30s or 40s and you feel you missed the boat. Show me the math that says giving up is cheaper. Nothing is worse than a late start except for no start. If you don't believe me, if you still think that investing is only for people with trust funds and high-end financial advisors, let us look at the historical proof. Let me talk to you about Ronald Reed. Ronald was a gas station attendant and janitor in Vermont. He never made more than $20,000 a year in his whole life. He drove a rusty Toyota Yaris 2007 model. His jacket was held together with safety pins. His coworkers literally laughed at him for being this cheap. But Ronald died and left an estate worth $8 million. He stayed away from penny stocks. He didn't deal in options. He didn't try to time the market. He just bought boring dividend-paying stocks every week for 70 years and never sold them. The same coworkers who laughed at his beat-up car had been working for a multi-millionaire for decades and never knew it. Or think of Sylvia Bloom, a legal secretary in Manhattan who rode the subway every day of her life. When her bosses bought stock, she quietly bought smaller amounts of the same dull companies. She died worth more than $9 million. Or Grace Groner, who bought 3 shares of Abbott Laboratories stock in 1935 for $180. She reinvested every dividend, never sold, and died with $7,200,000 in 2010. 3 shares, $180. 75 years of not having touched it. These people show that if your behavior is right, your outcome is totally irrelevant to your income. Now look at the Dalbar study that tracks investor behavior. Since the 1980s, the research says, the average equity investor has missed the market index by about 8.5 percentage points a year. If you had invested $10,000 in the S&P 500 from 2005 to 2024, JP Morgan ran the numbers, and you would have $71,000. But if you tried to time the market and missed just the 10 best trading days in that 20-year stretch, your return drops to just $32,000, more than halved. If you miss the best 30 days, then you are basically breaking even for 2 decades of work. Why? People flip out. The financial media creates urgency and fear to keep you watching. And you sell at the bottom. So why do we this? Why do we prefer the high-interest credit card debt to the boring, automated investment? The psychology behind it is fascinating, and it takes away a lot of shame, is subject to present bias. Even when the math is indisputably clear that $50,000 in 40 years is better than $500 today, your brain is hardwired to prefer the latter. We run on hardware that is 200,000 years old to eat the berries right now before they rot. You can't spreadsheet your way out of 200,000 years of evolutionary biology. Include that with loss aversion. In other words, mathematically, losing $100 hurts more than twice as much as gaining $100 makes us feel good. And this is why people panic sell at the bottom of a market crash. Then you have exponential growth bias. Roughly a third of people think of compounding growth as a straight line. They look at a compounding portfolio, draw a straight line and say it is not going anywhere, so they give up and buy a jet ski. We are victims of doom spending too. 1 in 5 Americans are overspenders from economic anxiety. It's retail therapy on a civilization scale. Borrowing to deal with the stress of having too much debt. And last, lifestyle inflation. 78% of people say they will save more after a raise. Almost none of them actually do, unless they are automated. $500 raise goes right to the brain and is immediately put towards slightly better versions of things we already own. We upgrade the car, we upgrade the apartment, we upgrade the restaurants, and the surplus is gone before it can be invested. There is no prize for socially expected financially ruinous behavior. There is no award for being house poor or car poor. It is not a character defect. That is the perfectly predictable human reaction to a system that kept the map away from them. Here's how to break the cycle. I'm going to give you 5 exact sequence steps you can take in the next 30 minutes to change the trajectory of your life. First step. Cease using the credit cards today. Now, remove them from your wallet, delete them from your phone, remove them from your browser autofill, and only use a debit card. You can't dig your way out of a hole when you're still holding a shovel. Step 2. Just take $100 out of your monthly surplus and open a Roth IRA at Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab. It takes 20 minutes to set up, exactly. A Roth IRA uses after-tax money, so everything it grows into is tax-free forever. Step 3. Within that account, link your bank and buy one S&P 500 index fund. Don't buy single stocks. Step 1. Don't buy crypto. Purchase the entire market. You can use FXAIX, VOO, or SWPPX. Choose whichever you want, it doesn't matter. Fourth step. Automate a monthly investment of that $100. Put it somewhere and forget the account exists and let it compound whilst you live your life. Check it out once a year. Fidelity actually did a study on what of their accounts did best. The answer was accounts of dead people and people who had forgotten about the account. The less you fiddle with it, the better. Step 5. Then take the other $400 a month of your surplus and go on the attack on your highest interest credit card debt until it is gone. Don't negotiate with this. Mathematically, 24% interest is a financial state of emergency. Attack it like it is an emergency. The choice is yours. Time does not wait. The math does not wait. For every year that you wait, it costs you more capital each month to get the exact same result. The math is exponentially worse, not linearly worse. Right now, $500 a month for 40 years will get you over $3.1 million. Start only 1 year late, and you need $520 a month to catch up. Wait 5 years, and you need $690 a month. Wait 10 years, and you need over $1,050 a month just to make the same exact number. The target is moving away faster than you can run to catch up. There's a version of you that's 20 years down the road. They have a big portfolio of investments. That guy is completely out of debt. That person is planning to retire early. That person is not getting worried about the economy, not getting worried about their boss, not getting worried about anything. That man is truly free. And there is another version. That person is still making minimum payments 20 years from now. He is working part-time just to pay for medication and the interest on things he bought 10 years ago. That person is sitting at the same kitchen table, staring at a screen, wondering what happened to all the money. You are both of these people. What you do in the next 30 minutes is all that will decide which one becomes real. David is not a special. Ronald Reed was no big deal. And you're not special, in the best way possible. Sometimes the best play is to know the game is rigged and walk away. Go be dull. If that changed anything for you, like and subscribe. It costs nothing. 3 seconds. And unlike the credit card companies, I don't profit from your fear.